Right there. Literally first cast of the day. Fish on. All right, back in the water she goes. That is as good as it gets, man. There's such a gorgeous fish up here. Look at how they're eating that bait. T-bone, man. Super cold water, giant fish. I don't know if you can beat it, man. I don't know if you can beat it. I mean, just the average size. What is going on, guys? Today we are back with another video. We are up here on Lake Michigan, Door County. I actually came down here yesterday to film some Shields end cap videos. As many of you guys know, we have the awesome Walleye Now end cap at Shields. I had to come down here and film some stuff for the upcoming month on some tickle tail, tickle shad swim baits. But figured while we're down here, we might as well catch some fish and do a little YouTube video. So today we've actually been out catch some fish and kind of want to show you guys the 1-2 punch and how we can do a couple different patterns and catch a pile of big walleyes at this time of year on these Great Lakes systems. So number one thing we're doing, we're casting the tickle tail, tickle shad swim baits. So we're going to go into a little bit about that, where we're fishing it and all that kind of good stuff. But kind of a quick off the cuff video today. Exhausted from a monotonous travel schedule the last couple weeks, but threw the cameras up, filmed some content. So let's show you guys the 1-2 punch to catch a ton of these giant springtime walleyes up here on the Great Lakes. Right there. Literally first cast of the day. Fish on. That's how you want to start the day. And this is probably going to be one of the smaller ones we're going to get right here. But we will take them all. I mean, that was literally the first cast. I just turned the camera on 50 seconds ago. That is ridiculous. And in clear water. Take that, huh? Yeah. Oh man, that's too much fun right there. And we're just hunting these fish on these big side imaging flats, and here's a big long gold post spawner, man, and he just absolutely throttled the Kalen's tickle tail right there. 3/8 ounce head, all black in the clear water, and that little Arkansas shad color. You can catch them on a few different colors while I was out here poking around yesterday, but how are you gonna beat that? And this is gonna be a sign of things to come. We're just gonna absolutely train wreck a whole pile of these fish today up here. At least that is the plan. We'll let that guy go and hope to repeat here. And it always takes a little bit to get all the cameras set up, and I was immediately like, this is gonna happen on the first cast, and lo and behold, it did pretty quick. Now we just gotta do that about 30 more times today and I'll be satisfied. Right there. Fish on. Well, after our first one, we kind of drifted the spot out, didn't get another one, and then kind of came back through a little deeper, and there's a nice fish on. I don't know if you can beat it, man. I don't know if you can beat it. I mean, just the average size. How fish catching them in the clear water. See if we can scoop that guy up. About as good as it gets right there. You guys will I'll probably sound like a broken record just saying that all day long, but it's true. Because anywhere you can go and catch fish like that, you know, with pretty regularity and consistency is unbelievable, man. I mean, look at that. Just studs. Every one of them. Big, fat, heavy walleyes like that. And we're hoping we just crush these things today. We'll probably have to move around because it doesn't look super good where we're at. If we can pick off a few in here, it's good with me. All right, guys, we're gonna interrupt the fish catching real quick to bring you guys 2 announcements. One very exciting one at Walleye Now. If you're a Wisconsin resident or really a Minnesota resident, you're probably looking forward to fishing opener, which happens here in a week or 2, depending on which state you live in. We're doing 7 videos in 7 days on the Walleye Now app. On the water, breaking down where we're seeing fish on a few different styles of inland lakes, your flowage, your reservoir systems, your small style lakes, and then kind of like your bigger inland lakes. the next coming week here, we're gonna get out in advance, no rods in the boat obviously, and show you guys where we're seeing fish, water temperatures, where we expect to see them come opener, along with the presentation. So for 7 days and kind of 7 in-depth videos leading into opening fishing weekend for Wisconsin and Minnesota this coming week. I believe it's gonna be posted this coming Saturday to Saturday. Jump on the Walleye Now app, click Let's Go Fish at the bottom of the page, and then you want to click on spring and natural lake or reservoir. All that content's going to be right there, and it's really going to be the perfect guide to opening week success for a lot of us that are getting out and doing some fishing in the inland lakes, getting up the rivers and the Great Lakes. So that is one exciting announcement. The other one, over at Contour Fishing Clothing Co., we have Simms sun shirts with the awesome Contour Fishing logo on them. Had a ton of requests for these, and it's awesome to partner with one of my favorite brands, Simms Fishing Clothing, and put our awesome logo on there. So those can be found, link in the description of this post. Get over there, check them out. There's 2 different styles. For now, back to fishing. Oh man, that one smoked it, dude. Watch that one right on live. You can see him fighting right there. There's my fish. I was just looking at it. I was like, there's one out there. Another nice one. They are literally all the same size fish, aren't they? I kind of told Jeff to start I was like, it's like they're all like 24, 25, 26. Obviously, you always got the shot of the 31-incher showing up out here. But if we're killing time before that one shows up catching these, and that one just absolutely throttled it on the swim bait, man. And actually, the whole reason I came down here was to film a Shields end cap video on that bait. So look forward to that. We're gonna have the awesome Walleye Now Shields end cap video playing in most of the Shields locations, kind of promoting some good information on those baits and the tickle shad and tickle tail. And that's why I wanted to come down here, is to film that stuff. But you guys know me, we had to film some YouTube content while we're down here, so let's let that guy go. Beautiful sight right there. We're definitely got to move around to find some more fish, but I've got, I think, 3 just in this little area so far. Doesn't look quite as good as it did yesterday. Yesterday was a lot calmer and sunnier, and they were just loaded thick in here. All right guys, so the casting bite, kind of what we're doing here is we're getting a lot of these areas where you have a little kind of shelf come off the bank. You know, a lot of this, it's just a straight break. So anywhere we have just one of these little shelves kind of come off the break, where it's maybe 0 to 10 feet drops down, and there's this little like 12 to 15, 20 foot flat in there. And a lot of times it's sand or kind of rock and riprap. And we're getting in these areas and we're just kind of drifting down it. Now, the first thing we do when we get in here, if we're not sure there's fish here or not, we're looking at the side imaging. And a lot of times we're looking for screenshots that might look something like this right here. Once we start seeing that, a lot of times these fish are still pretty spread out. So we're drifting through the area, and then we're using side imaging and the Mega Live to kind of try to focus on where those fish are concentrated. As we do a big drift like this, you might go, you know, maybe a couple 100 yards, but you don't see anything. Obviously, there's no need to drift back through that area. So kind of what we're trying to do is look for where we're seeing fish, and then once we do, go a little bit slower in that area and really kind of make our cast a lot more pinpointed. We might even like spot lock in an area once we start seeing quite a few fish there. First fish of the year. The drag wasn't tight. Is he running at us? Is it a bass? It's a walleye. Nice fish. I just lost one a second ago. There we go. On the old copper tickle shad. I was out here yesterday running around, and it seemed like fish were set up a lot better, but we got a big offshore wind today, which is nice because it's a little calmer than a wind coming in, but unfortunately what it does is moves all that. Oh, I'm hugging them. See you later, buddy. Sorry. It moves all the warm water around, so if you get a bunch of wind coming into shoreline, essentially what you'll have is all that warmer, a little bit chalkier water kind of puddled up close to the bank, and that's kind of good. It kind of concentrates those fish, but as the wind kind of blows out, all that stuff kind of diffuses, and a lot of times it shuffles the fish around quite a bit. Got that one. Just pounded it, man. And that is the coolest bite in walleye fishing. Hopping a jig and just boom. We got a crazy head shaking one here. We'll bring them over. Man, just the average size. How pretty and colored up these fish are. It's tough to beat. We're fishing just a little 14, 15 foot kind of rock gravel flat right offshore here. There's a few fish in it. I lost one, Jeff caught one, I got this one. That might be the smallest one of the day so far. Look how pretty and perky those things are. Tough to beat. We're both pitching swim baits and they're thumping them. It's just a matter of kind of getting around the most amount of them. And this gin clear water, especially in Lake Michigan, anything that's colored up like goby color. This one is called yellow perch. I think Jeff's throwing the same thing, just in a tickle shad. You can kind of see how it's that real kind of dark brown, almost a little bit of yellow with a gold flake in it. And I'll link it down below if you guys want to check it out, but that's generally a good color out here in this real clear water in Green Bay, Sturgeon Bay, Door County area. All right, guys, well, we just put the spinning rods away, and what we're actually going to do is do a little bit of trolling. And we're just not seeing fish like piled up in an area. A lot of times if you have a big wind coming in, that warm water will puddle up and those fish will kind of really concentrate about it. Seems like we're making a lot of casts that aren't around fish to get around fish. So the one thing we could do is obviously troll. And trolling big crankbaits is kind of the name of the game out here. These are a couple of new ones, Reef Runner 900s and a couple of purples. They're a big giant crankbait that was maybe made for like Lake Erie or something, but these baits work very well, pulled at like that 1.1 to 1.4 this time of year. And a lot of the depths we're trying to get down to is a lot of this 22 to 16 feet. So we're gonna strap up a bunch of these Reef Runner 900s, get out the 2B trolling rods and start pulling some of these big flats, and hopefully some big fish decide to bite for us. If nothing else, at least we'll be putting our baits around more fish by having 6 lines and just rake in these areas instead of having to just pepper them with casts the whole way. All right, guys, well, we switched up to do a little trolling. And right away, we're hooked up on what seems like it's probably a big fish on a Reef Runner 900. That's kind of what we got on the outside, our deep side here. Big clunky crankbait that in, of course, purple color. And it didn't take long, maybe 100 yards or so is what we traveled till we got a fish on here. And some days it seems like out here, even though the water is 41, you can get in this clear water and go kind of real slow. As long as you got wind, it seems like a lot of times you can get bit trolling on some of these big baits in the middle of the day. Still dogging. This could potentially be a really good one. Oh yeah, look at him. It's a stud. Look at that fish, man. Big bait, big fish. Just got to take our time pulling them in. We got our inside board rod, so I'm just kind of babying them here. Scoop. That's a stud. Oh man, on that big Reef Runner 900. That thing has been a big fish magnet over here. We'll give you guys a look, because that is an absolute stud right there. That is the size we're after. Did our entanglement come out? Nice. Look at that fish, man. That is what we're after right there. He almost seems like she still has some eggs in her, but big, fat Great Lakes walleyes. Doesn't get any better than that. On the Reef Runner 900, and that thing is just an absolute handful right there. And we'll see if trolling's going to be an all-day maneuver, or if we're going to go back to doing some casting. But definitely in this situation where the fish are just kind of real spread out, trolling obviously makes a lot of sense. This one was on our far outside rod, our deep rod. It was 100 feet back, 120 back on a Reef Runner 900, which will have that bait down about 1.2. Yeah, should come right in over the top of everything here. about 17 to 25 feet of water on the outside here, so we're kind of stacking baits going down this break from shallower to deeper, essentially like 15 feet to 25 feet. Oh yeah, that's a really nice fish. Keep them coming. Oh dude, it's a tank. It's a tank. Got him. Big fatty, man. That is the kind we are after right there. On the purple 900. That is what I'm talking about. Look at that popped off. That board's free. Look at that one. That is a good fish right there. I got the bait here. Look at that fish. Doesn't get much better than that, does it? That is an absolutely gorgeous Door County walleye right there. Super gold up here in the clear water. Want a quick picture of him? Yep. All right, back in the water she goes. That is as good as it gets, man. There's such a gorgeous fish up here. We're putting a few together between trolling and casting. Not a wild day of action, but just for the water kind of falling apart. We'll take them. Pretty nice walleyes. Pretty crazy, isn't it? That bait's been responsible right there for most of the bites. We'll get them popped off and give you guys a look here. But he absolutely T-boned it. Look at how they're eating that bait. T-bone, man. Super cold water, giant fish. T-boned the big purple reef runner. See you later, big mama. It's about as good as it gets right there. Big walleyes, super clear water, casting, trolling. They are absolutely smoking some of those big crankbaits. And we'll make sure to link those down below because that thing's been on fire. It even catches a nice. Alright guys, well that is going to do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching it. It's kind of a quick little, oh we're out here, we might as well film a video, right? So thanks to Jeff for coming with, the other guy that was with me, and he's coming in right now. But caught a few fish, nothing crazy. The size, very good. Kind of want to show like kind of the 1-2 punch, how to come out to a lot of these Great Lake systems and catch fish right now. Make sure you guys get on the Walleye now if you're interested in a lot of that open weekend inland fishing report, that type of stuff. Side imaging shots, kind of breaking down everything that we're going to do for opening weekend leading into that week. So get on the Walleye Now app for that. Check out a lot of our Sims contour fishing kind of combination clothing stuff we got available, linked down below. I appreciate you guys watching this. We'll see you next time.